Hey guys, how's it all going? This is Flickin Reviews Weekly. My name is Ashton Gleckman, and you guys just clicked on the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 review. So, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. This movie was directed by Francis Lawrence. This movie stars Jennifer Lawrence as Katniss Everdeen, Liam Hemsworth as Gale, Donald Sutherland as President Snow, and Mahershala Ali as Boggs. So, just some previous knowledge on what a Mockingjay is. A Mockingjay, in accordance to the Hunger Games, is a mix of two birds that repeats people's voices, as seen in like the first movie. These Mockingjays are used by the Capitol to spy on rebels. So that's their main focus. All right, so Katniss Everdeen, at the end of Hunger Games Catching Fire, destroys the whole entire arena with a bow and arrow. She figures out how to do it. So the Capitol has taken PETA and a few of the other tributes from the arena, and they're sort of using them as to bait Panem's people and to get them into believing that Panem is doing the right thing and that the Capitol is sort of on the right track, while the rebels are actually trying to take advantage of this weak point in Panem's history to take back the Capitol and to ultimately reunite all the districts to create an actual free land. So Katniss Everdeen, after the events of Hunger Games Catching Fire, is brought to District 13. This is an underground facility hidden and used for the home of rebels. So this is pretty much where they store all of the rebels' artillery. This is where all the rebel people live. There's families living in here. It's like super low into the ground. It's hidden, so the Capitol's not really supposed to know that it's there, but it's sort of hidden off. It tells you in the movie that the Capitol actually bombed it, the top of it, but they were smart enough to actually put it underground. So that's what sort of District 13, and that's how sort of the movie starts. Katniss Everdeen wakes up in, I think, at the medical facility in District 13, and she gets introduced to everyone by Boggs, including Julianne Moore's character. I really liked Julianne Moore's character. I think she did a good job. She sort of went from the ginger to the gray old lady look. I don't know whether you guys have heard this, but the movie is slow-paced. This movie isn't a super action-filled movie. This movie has a lot of dialogue that you sort of need to pay attention to. I could sort of see this as leading into Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. I could see maybe how they needed this time to sort of introduce some things and to sort of get the stage set for Mockingjay Part 2, but the movie did run on. There were some parts of this movie that weren't totally needed. I was watching like a teaser trailer. It was around 30-40 seconds on TV, and it showed the part where Katniss is using her explosive arrow to destroy the hovercraft, and when they're taking down the big the dam, and then when they're infiltrating the Capitol. They put all that in there, and those are pretty much all the action scenes that you see in the movie. So this movie lacks in action and really has a lot of dialogue that you need to pay attention to. That I was trying to pay attention to. I could actually recollect times that I was about to go to sleep in that theater. I was sort of getting off, and I saw the 7 o'clock showing. So I really liked Gale in this movie. I think that Liam Hemsworth sort of stepped up in this movie. He became a badass, and there was this one scene where PETA was like faking with the Capitol, and he was like saying all this stuff about how Katniss, you have to stop all this. And then Gale says this really good quote, and I think he was being sort of the smart guy. He's the one that sort of joins the people to go and infiltrate the Capitol headquarters. I think he really stepped up in this movie. He did a good job. I like this character a lot out of all the characters. I think that he was one of the best characters in this movie to pay attention to. There were certain issues in this movie, including like small things like. There was this one part where Katniss is actually going onto the hovercraft so that they'll take her to District 12 to see all the ruins. And she went from discussing all this and being the face of the Mockingjay with the president in District 13 to going onto the hovercraft with makeup on. BTW, you gotta look pretty for all those dead bodies in District 12. So there were bad CGI in certain spots, like when Katniss and Gale were going to hunt for elk, I believe. They showed like this the CGI of like this elk drinking from, and I was like, oh my god, that is like the worst CGI I've ever seen. In this movie, Katniss's character didn't really make me feel much. Her character was sort of bland, and I guess it didn't really develop from the first and the second movie. I really lost the vibe that I picked up in the first and second movie of like Panem and of like the world that Suzanne Collins created. And I sort of lost it. All you really see in this movie is Underground District 13, and then you see a little bit of District 5 and a little bit of District 8. So like I said, the atmosphere died a little. I did like Boggs. I wasn't sort of expecting to feel anything for this character, but I think he was really, I took him really seriously, and I think he did a good job acting in this. I believe that the character who played Boggs was in House of Cards. I liked Boggs. I liked Julianne Moore's character. I think she did a good job, as I mentioned earlier. President Snow, I think, Donald Sutherland, he was just the most angry, rugged, sort of formal, disgusting, manipulative character that, an amazing character in that genre and sort of place and characters. But I think that President Snow was totally evil, and it really represented that in this movie, and just the horrible things that he does. I really, really like the Capitol infiltration scene when Liam Hemsworth and a few of the other guys are going into the Capitol headquarters, SEAL Team 13. So I like the song that Katniss sang. I don't really remember what it's about. It's about like a tree or something. And it sort of starts out as like a cappella, but then it adds strings and it layers, and then it leads them into going into District 5, destroying the dam, ultimately turning off all the electricity leading into Panem. I thought that was really, really cool. Chris Stuckerman said it, and I agree. I feel like this was The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, the extended trailer for Mockingjay Part 2. I think this movie had certain aspects that were likable. It had certain dialogue scenes. It had certain characters, certain atmospheric things, but it didn't really attract me a whole bunch. So I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a 7.0. I liked a select bunch of characters. I liked how Beetee sort of transformed into like Lucius Fox's character and sort of was setting up all the weaponry for Katniss and Gale before they went out into District 8 to help the medically wounded. I liked the exploding arrows. I thought those were really cool in the scene where like she shot the hovercraft or whatever. And I liked certain things about the environment. I liked the District 13 that they created, stuff like that. Now, the cons of this movie, there's some plot holes. There's some undeveloped characters, obviously, like Katniss. It is totally slow at certain points, so this isn't going to be like the first and second movie where the movie takes you along. You do have to think, and I've said that about a couple of my other reviews, and this is one movie where you actually have to do that. There's no specific action other than a couple of the scenes that I just mentioned that were in like the 30-second teaser trailer. That's pretty much all there really is to it. And it is pretty repetitive in certain spots in terms of like they go out and they come back and then they go out and they come back and then he says this and then he says that. It's certainly repetitive in certain spots in the movie. So I think this movie was pretty good. I enjoyed watching it, but there were definitely some flaws. And that's why I gave it a C. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Ashton Gleckman. Please tell me how you liked Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 down below. Please like. Please do not dislike, but if you really feel the need to, you know what, you go right ahead. Great. Please subscribe, guys, so you can see all our great videos that are coming up. We are Flickin Reviews Weekly movie reviews. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys later.